The fork clattered against Maya's plate, but it wasn't the sound that made her freeze. It was the laughter, sharp, deliberate, meant to be heard. Maybe if you ordered a salad instead of the full stack, honey, those jeans wouldn't be screaming for mercy, the waitress said, loud enough that the entire Route 9 diner went silent. Her name tag read Brittany, and her smile was all edges. Maya's cheeks burned. 32 years old, a hospice nurse who just finished a double shift, and she was being humiliated over pancakes. Around her, phones came out, someone snickered. The teenager in the corner booth had his camera pointed right at her. She should leave. Walk out. But Maya Chen had been shrinking herself her whole life in hospital hallways, in her own family photos, in every space that told her she took up too much room. Not today. I'll take that salad to go, Maya said quietly, reaching for her purse. And the pancakes. I earned both. Brittany rolled her eyes, snatching the menu. Whatever you say, Sway. The rumble started low like distant thunder. Then it grew. And grew. Through the diner's plate glass windows, motorcycles appeared. 1, 5, 10, 20 rolling into the parking lot in perfect formation. Chrome gleaming. Leather cuts bearing the unmistakable winged death's head. Hell's Angels Nomad Charter. The diner went from silent to dead quiet. Maya watched as the lead rider dismounted. He was massive 6'4" of tattooed muscle, his cut showing the name Reaper beneath the president's patch. Salt and pepper beard, eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses even though the sun was setting. Behind him, his brothers formed up like soldiers, 20 men who looked like they'd ridden straight out of a nightmare. The bell above the door chimed as Reaper stepped inside. Every eye in the diner tracked him. Brittany's face went white, but Reaper's gaze cold, assessing landed on Maya. Stayed there. Then shifted to Brittany, to the phone still recording, to the half-eaten pancakes getting cold. Somebody got a problem here. His voice was gravel and diesel smoke. This was the moment everything changed. Maya's heart hammered against her ribs. She'd seen bikers before, everyone in Arizona had, but never this close. Never directed at her. The man they called Reaper stood between her booth and the counter, and suddenly the diner felt very small. Brittany found her voice first, all sugar now. No problem at all. Just taking care of our customers. Can I get you gentlemen? I asked if there was a problem. Reaper didn't raise his voice. Didn't have to. And I'm asking her. He pointed at Maya. 20 pairs of eyes turned to her. Bikers. Phones. The cook peering through the kitchen window. Maya had spent her whole life trying not to be seen, and now she was the center of a room that felt like it might explode. Tell the truth, something whispered inside her. The same voice that had made her become a nurse, that held dying patients' hands when their families wouldn't come. The voice that refused to shrink anymore. She. Maya swallowed. She made fun of my weight, in front of everyone. One of the bikers behind Reaper, a younger guy with Pierrot aspect on his cut, let out a low whistle. Another, an older man with silver in his beard and the name Ghost, just shook his head slowly. Reaper pulled off his sunglasses. His eyes were pale blue sharp, intelligent, and currently colder than any emergency room Maya had ever worked. He turned those eyes on Brittany. That true? I was just joking. She knows I was joking, right? Brittany's voice climbed an octave. It's not... We joke with all the regulars and... She a regular? Reaper asked. Well, no, but... Then you weren't joking. You were being cruel. He said it matter-of-factly, like reading off a list. To a woman eating alone, who probably worked all day judging by those scrubs. His gaze flicked back to Maya. Hospice? Maya nodded, stunned he'd noticed the small embroidered logo. My mom died in hospice, Reaper said. Last year, pancreatic cancer. He turned back to Brittany. The nurses were the only ones who treated her like she still mattered. Like she was still a person, not just a dying body. Held her hand when I couldn't get there in time. The diner was so quiet, Maya could hear the coffee pot burbling on the warmer. So when I see someone disrespecting a hospice nurse, Reaper continued, someone who probably just held some scared, dying stranger's hand before coming here? Yeah, I got a problem with that, Brittany stammered. I didn't know she was... Doesn't matter what she is. Matters how you treat people. Reaper pulled out his wallet. Ghost. How many we got outside? The silver-bearded biker grinned. 20, including you, Prez. Reaper pulled out a stack of bills. 100 Zen dropped them on the counter. 20 orders. Biggest thing on your menu. To go. And her meal? He gestured to Maya. Free. Forever. She comes in here, you feed her. Whatever she wants. You got me? The manager materialized from the back office, already nodding frantically. Yes, sir. Absolutely. No charge. We're so sorry about... Don't apologize to me. Reaper jerked his chin toward Maya. The manager turned to her red-faced. Ma'am, I am so sorry. This is unacceptable. Brittany will be trained better. Reaper interrupted. People mess up. She makes it right. She keeps her job. That work for you? He was asking Maya. The president of a Hells Angels charter was asking Maya Chen, hospice nurse, if that was acceptable. Maya's voice cracked. Yes, that's more than fair. Reaper nodded. He turned to leave, his brothers already moving toward the door but paused. You got someone driving you home? My car's outside. Where you headed? Phoenix. I live in. Maya stopped. Why was she telling a stranger where she lived? But Reaper just nodded again. We're headed that way. I-10, yeah? At her hesitant nod, he continued. You see us on the road. Flash your lights if you need anything. Flat tire, trouble, anything. We'll pull over. Why? The question escaped before Maya could stop it. For the first time, something that might have been a smile tugged at Reaper's scarred mouth. Because 20 years ago, my mom was a woman eating alone at a diner when some asshole made her cry, and nobody said a damn thing. One person stood up for her. He replaced his sunglasses. I was 10. Watched the whole thing. Promised myself, when I got big enough, that shit wouldn't happen again. Not where I could stop it. He walked out. His brothers followed. Through the window, Maya watched them mount up, engines roaring to life in a symphony of chrome and defiance. Before we continue Maya's story, I want to know, where are you watching from right now? Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if this story is already hitting you in the feels, hit that subscribe button. Because what happens next? You won't believe how these 20 bikers change everything for Maya and how she changes them right back. Now back to that dusty Arizona highway. Maya sat in her 10-year-old Honda Civic, hands shaking on the steering wheel. Her pancake sat in a takeout box on the passenger seat, along with the salad she'd ordered out of spite, both paid for, both free for life, apparently. Her phone buzzed. Text from her sister, "Did you see you're trending on Twitter?" Maya's stomach dropped. She opened the app. Sure enough, Number Diner Humiliation was climbing. But the videos weren't what she expected. They weren't mocking her. They were celebrating the bikers. 20 Hells Angels just offended a nurse at Route 9 Diner, and I'm not crying. You're crying. This is what Brotherhood looks like. Real men stand up for people. Mad respect. Reaper just became my hero. Dropped probably 2K to defend a total stranger. The videos had millions of views already. Brittany's cruelty, immortalized. But also Reaper's quiet fury. His story about his mother. The way he'd asked Maya, not told her, asked her if justice was acceptable. Maya put her phone away, started her car, and pulled on to I-10 East toward Phoenix. 5 minutes later, she saw them. The Hells Angels convoy rode in perfect formation. 2 columns, Reaper at the front. As Maya merged into the right lane, they adjusted, created a pocket around her. 3 bikes ahead, 3 behind, 7 on each side. They were protecting her. For 60 miles through the desert night, 20 bikers she'd never met rode escort. When a pickup truck rode her bumper too aggressively, 2 of the bikes, the one called Ghost and another with Shay INs on his cut, dropped back. The truck immediately backed off. When Maya's tire pressure light came on, old car problems, she slowed, uncertain. Immediately, all 20 bikes slowed with her. Reaper circled back, pulling alongside her driver's window, gesturing. You okay? She gave him a thumbs up. Just a sensor. He nodded and dropped back into formation. They didn't leave her side until her exit North Phoenix, the neighborhood where she rented a tiny apartment. As she took the off-ramp, Reaper raised his fist. His brothers answered with revving engines a salute. A goodbye, a promise. Maya pulled into her complex and sat in the parking lot crying for the first time in months. Not from humiliation this time, from being seen, from being defended, from mattering to someone, even strangers. She didn't know that 15 miles away, Reaper sat in the Nomad Charters clubhouse, staring at a photo of his mother, a curvy Latina woman who'd raised him alone, worked 3 jobs, and died thinking she'd never been enough. He didn't know that Maya went inside and, for the first time in 5 years, didn't cry herself to sleep. Neither of them knew this wasn't an ending. It was just the beginning. By morning, Maya's life had exploded. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The videos from the diner had gone beyond viral. They'd hit national news. Hell's Angels defend nurse from body-shaming waitress scrolled across CNN. Good Morning America wanted an interview. Her hospital's PR department had called 6 times. Maya ignored all of it. She had patients to see. Mrs. Rodriguez was dying. 73, lung cancer, maybe 3 weeks left. Her family visited on Sundays. Maybe Anne spent the time arguing about her house. Maya was often the only person who held her hand. You look different today, Mija, Mrs. Rodriguez rasped from her bed. Something happened. Maya adjusted the morphine drip. Just had an interesting night. The biker thing, it's on the TV? That was you? Maya's head snapped up. Sure enough, the hospice common room TV was showing the diner footage. Maya's face was blurred. She'd been turned away from most cameras, but her scrubs, her curly dark hair visible. They're saying that President, the Reaper one, he's trying to find you. Mrs. Dent, Rodriguez continued. Said he wants to make sure you're okay. Told the news he doesn't trust they won't bother you. He what? Mrs. Rodriguez smiled, the first real smile Maya had seen from her in days. A man like that, who stands up for strangers? You should talk to him, Mija. My husband, God rest him, he wasn't a biker. But he had that same thing. That protector heart. You can't teach that. You got it or you don't. Maya's hands trembled as she smoothed the blanket. I'm not. He was just being decent. That's all. Decent is doing the right thing when it's easy. What he did? That's character. Mrs. Rodriguez squeezed Maya's hand weakly. Life's too short to hide from the good things, honey. Trust me. I know. That evening, Maya made a decision. She created a video just her, sitting in her car, still in her scrubs. I'm the woman from the diner, she started, and I want to say something to Reaper and his brothers. Thank you. You didn't have to stop. You didn't have to spend your money or your time. You definitely didn't have to escort me home like I was somebody important. Her voice cracked. But you did. And for someone who spent most of her life being invisible, you made me feel seen. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart. She posted it before she could chicken out. By midnight, it had 20 million views. And by 6 a.m. the next morning, there was a knock on Maya's apartment door. She opened it to find Ghost, the silver-bearded biker from the diner, standing there, with a woman Maya's age. The woman was beautiful, curvy like Maya, with bright red hair and warm eyes. Sorry to show up uninvited, Ghost said. This is Lena, my old lady. We saw your video. Reaper asked us to check on you, make sure the media vultures weren't camped outside, make sure you're safe. Maya blinked. I'm fine, really. Lena smiled. Honey, there are 12 news vans outside your complex. You're not fine. You're about to be ambushed. She held up a bag. So we brought breakfast, and Reaper sent a message. Says, if you want to talk, really talk, not on camera. The clubhouse is neutral ground. No pressure. But the offer's there. Maya looked past them. Sure enough, news crews were setting up in the parking lot. She grabbed her keys. Let's go. The Nomad Charters clubhouse was not what Maya expected. She'd imagined something dark, dangerous, maybe a warehouse filled with weapons and bad decisions. Instead, Ghost and Lena led her to a sprawling property on the outskirts of Phoenix. The main building was solid adobe and stone, surrounded by desert landscape and a parking lot full of immaculate motorcycles. An American flag flew beside the Hells Angels flag. There was even a garden, actual flowers being tended by a muscular biker with tears tattooed down his face. That's Priest, Lena explained as they walked. He grows peppers, makes his own hot sauce, won a state fair competition last year. Maya's worldview cracked a little wider. Inside, the clubhouse was surprisingly homey. Leather couches worn comfortable, a massive kitchen where someone was actually cooking real food, not just beer and chips. Photos on the walls, bikers at charity rides, toy runs for kids, veterans events, a memorial wall with faces of brothers who'd passed. And there, at a heavy wooden table, sat Reaper. He stood when she entered. So did the 10 other bikers scattered around the room, a sign of respect Maya felt in her bones. Maya. Reaper's voice was softer than at the diner. Thanks for coming. I know this probably feels surreal, Maya managed. Yeah, that's the word. He almost smiled. Bear, sit, coffee. Lena makes it strong enough to wake the dead. Says the man who drinks motor oil, Lena shot back. But she was already pouring 2 mugs. Maya sat across from Reaper. Up close, in better light, she could see the details she'd missed. The scar through his left eyebrow, the wedding ring tattooed on his finger, the weight in his eyes that spoke of hard years and harder choices. I wanted to talk before the world spins this into something it's not, Reaper said. What happened at that diner? That wasn't about you specifically. That was about anyone being treated like they don't matter. I meant what I said. My mom went through that her whole life. I swore I'd never let it slide again. But you didn't have to do all that, Maya said. The money, the escort home, checking on me. Yes, I did. Reaper's pale blue eyes held hers. Because that's what we do. The world thinks we're outlaws, and yeah, we live by our own code. But that code says you protect people who can't protect themselves. You stand up when others sit down. You make the world a little less cruel when you can. Ghost sat down beside them. What Reaper's not saying is that he almost didn't go into that diner. We were headed home, running late, but something made him look through that window. And when he saw you sitting there, saw that waitress laughing at you. Ghost shook his head. I've known this man 20 years. I've never seen him move that fast. Why? Maya asked, the question that had haunted her for 2 days. Reaper was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out his wallet and extracted an old photograph, creased and faded. A woman with kind eyes and a curvy figure standing next to a motorcycle, laughing. My mom, Isabella, taken a month before she got sick. His voice was rough. She worked as a nurse too. ER, not hospice. Raised me alone after my dad took off. Dealt it with people's crap her whole life about her weight, her accent, being a single mom. But she never stopped being kind. Never stopped helping people. He traced the edge of the photo with his thumb. Last year, when she was dying, the hospice nurses were angels. They treated her like she mattered when her own family, my dad's side, wouldn't even visit. They held her hand. They sang to her. They made her last days bearable. His jaw clenched. So when I saw you in those scrubs getting torn down by someone who should have been grateful you exist, yeah, I took it personally. Maya's eyes burned. Your mom sounds amazing. She was, and she would have liked you. She had this thing she always said, costs nothing to be kind, Maijo. But it might cost someone everything if you're not. Reaper met Maya's gaze. I'm not a good man by most standards. I've done things that would make you run. But I try to live by that. By her. The room had gone quiet. Maya looked around and realized every single biker was listening, and more than one had suspiciously bright eyes. I think she'd be proud of you, Maya said softly. Reaper's throat worked. He nodded once, unable to speak. Lena broke the moment gently. Maya, honey, we should talk about the practical stuff. The media's going crazy. You're trending worldwide. We've got experience with this kind of attention, not always friendly. We can help keep you safe until it dies down, if you want. Why would you do that? Maya asked. You don't know me. Because you're Pack now, Ghost said simply. You might not wear our cut, but Reaper claimed you as ours when he stood up for you. That means we protect you. That's how this works. Maya felt something crack open inside her chest, the place where she'd kept herself small, kept herself safe, kept herself from needing anyone. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Reaper said. Let us help. No strings, no expectations. Just let someone have your back for once. Maya thought of Mrs. Becht. Rodriguez, life's too short to hide from the good things. Yes, she whispered. Okay, yes. The next 2 weeks changed everything. The nomads didn't just protect Maya from the media, they welcomed her into their world. Then it became her friend, teaching her that biker old ladies were some of the strongest women she'd ever meet. Ghost's dry humor made her laugh until her sides hurt. Priest shared his hot sauce and stories about his daughter's soccer games. And Reaper was everywhere and nowhere, checking on her from a distance, making sure she was okay, but never pushing, never demanding, just present, like gravity constant and steady. Maya started spending evenings at the clubhouse after her shifts. She'd find Reaper working on bikes in the garage, hands covered in grease, and they'd talk about his mom, about her work, about the weight of caring for dying strangers, and the weight of trying to honor a dead woman's legacy. You ever feel guilty? Maya asked one night, sitting on a workbench while Reaper rebuilt a carburetor. Like you're not doing enough to make them proud? Reaper didn't look up from his work. Every day. Mom worked herself to death trying to give me a better life, and I chose this. He gestured to his cut hanging nearby. The outlaw life. Not exactly the Harvard graduate she dreamed of, but you're helping people, Maya pointed out. I've seen it. The toy runs, the veterans benefits, standing up for people like me. That matters. Does it balance out the other stuff? Reaper's hands stilled. The things I've done that aren't in charity photos? Maya considered this. I work in hospice. I see people at the end, when all the masks come off. And you know what the good ones regret? Not the mistakes they made. Not the rules they broke. They regret the times they didn't love hard enough, didn't protect the people who needed them, didn't stand up when it mattered. She met his eyes. You do those things. You stand up. So yeah, I think it balances. Something shifted in Reaper's expression, a wall coming down, brick by careful brick. You're dangerous, Maya Chen, he said quietly. Why? Because you make me want to be the man my mom thought I could be, not the one I settled for being. Before Maya could respond, chaos erupted outside. Shouting. Engines. The prospect, a young guy named Friction, burst into the garage. Reaper, we got a problem. Jackals are here. They're armed. Every muscle in Reaper's body went taut. The Jackals were a rival club known for dealing drugs, trafficking, everything the nomads stood against. There'd been tension for months over territory. How many? Reaper was already moving, grabbing his cut. 8. They're demanding you come out. Something about disrespect, claiming you embarrassed them on social media. Maya's stomach dropped. The diner video. Some people had recognized nomad territory in the background. If the Jackals felt shown up, get Maya to the safe room, Reaper ordered. Ghost. Chains. Priest with me. Everyone else. Defensive positions. No shooting unless they start it. We do this smart. No. Maya stood. If this is about me, this is about them being assholes looking for an excuse, Reaper cut her off. His eyes were hard now, all business. But I need you safe. Please, Maya. I can't. His voice cracked slightly. I can't lose someone else I care about. Not again. Please. The raw fear in his voice made Maya nod. Lena took her arm, leading her toward the back of the clubhouse to a reinforced room Maya hadn't known existed. Through the walls, she heard Reaper's voice boom. You got a problem, Tommy? Come say it to my face like a man instead of rolling up on my house like a punk. Then she heard nothing but her own heartbeat and Lena's quiet prayers. Maya lasted 5 minutes in the safe room before she couldn't take it anymore. I have to see, she told Lena. I have to know he's okay. Lena's eyes were sympathetic but firm. Honey, Reaper gave an order because he's scared. I understand that. But I'm a nurse. If someone gets hurt, Maya moved toward the door. I can't just hide. She slipped out before Lena could stop her, moving through the clubhouse to a window that overlooked the parking lot. What she saw made her blood run cold. 8 jackals, leather cuts marking them clearly, stood in formation. Their president, a wiry man with a cobra tattooed on his neck, was screaming at Reaper. Behind them, 2 jackals held a woman. Young, maybe 19, with a black eye and terror in her expression. You think you're some kind of hero? Cobra was yelling. Standing up for bitches at diners, making us look weak? You want to play white knight? Let's see you save this one. He shoved the girl forward. She fell hard on the asphalt. And Maya watched Reaper's entire body language change. He'd been tense, control. Now he looked like leashed violence about to break free. "Let her go, Tommy," Reaper said, voice deadly quiet. "Whatever you think I did to you, this girl's got nothing to do with it." "She's my property," Tommy screamed. "She's my old lady, and if I want to." "She's a human being," Ghost interrupted, stepping forward beside Reaper. "And brother or not, you know we don't play that domestic violence shit. Let her walk, or this ends bad for you." The jackals pulled weapons knives. One gun. The nomads tensed. And Maya made a choice. She walked out the front door of the clubhouse. Every head turned. Reaper's face went white. "Maya, no! Stop!" Maya said, voice steady despite her shaking hands. She walked straight past Reaper, past Ghost, and knelt beside the fallen girl. "Honey, my name is Maya. I'm a nurse. Will you let me help you?" The girl looked at her with desperate, hopeful eyes. "Please." Maya helped her stand, putting herself between the girl and Tommy. She looked at the jackal president, really looked at him. Saw the signs she'd seen 100 times in the ER. The paranoia, the rage, the tremors of addiction. "You're high right now," Maya said calmly. "Meth probably, which means you're not thinking clearly. You came here for respect? Beating women doesn't earn respect. It earns contempt." She gestured to his own brothers. "Look at their faces. They're not proud of you right now. They're ashamed." Tommy's face went purple with rage, but Maya saw the flicker in the eyes of the jackals behind him. Uncertainty. Shame. "You want to know what strength looks like," Maya continued. "It's Reaper defending a stranger at a diner. It's Ghost checking on someone he barely knows. It's Priest growing peppers in the desert and crying at charity events for kids. That's strength. What you're doing?" She looked at the girl, then back at Tommy. "That's just pathetic." The silence was absolute. Then one of the jackals, a younger man with haunted eyes, stepped forward. "She's right, Tommy. This is wrong. I'm out." He peeled off his cut, dropped it on the ground, and walked away. Then another. Then two more. Tommy stood there, abandoned by half his club, and for a moment Maya thought he might shoot her. His hand moved to his waistband. Reaper was there in a heartbeat, between Maya and the gun that hadn't quite cleared the holster. "You pull that weapon," Reaper said, voice like iron, "and you don't leave this lot alive. Not from me, from your own brothers who still have souls. Last chance, Tommy. Walk away." The rage in Tommy's eyes flickered to fear. He looked around at his remaining jackals, only 3, now, and at the 20 nomads who'd emerged from the clubhouse, every single one ready to fight. He ran. All of them did, engines roaring as they fled into the desert night. Reaper turned to Maya, and she'd never seen him look so scared. "Are you insane? He could have killed you." But he didn't, and now she's safe. Maya still had her arm around the girl, who was sobbing into her shoulder. "You could have died," Reaper repeated, his voice breaking. "So could you. So could any of these men. But you all stood up anyway?" Maya met his eyes. "I learned that from you. From all of you. When it matters, you don't hide. You stand." Reaper pulled her into his arms, right there, in front of everyone, and held her like she might disappear. "Don't ever scare me like that again," he whispered into her hair. "Can't promise that," Maya said, but she held him back just as tight. "I'm stubborn that way." Behind them, Ghost cleared his throat. "Hate to interrupt, but we need to get this young lady medical attention, and probably a safe house." Maya pulled back from Reaper, slipping into nurse mode. "I'll take care of her. Lena, can you help me?" As the women moved toward the clubhouse, Reaper watched Maya go with an expression of awe and terror, and something else, something that looked a lot like love. Ghost clapped him on the shoulder. "You're in trouble, brother." "Yeah," Reaper agreed. "I really am." 3 months later, Maya stood in her apartment, the one she barely lived in anymore, packing the last of her belongings. The girl from that night, Sarah, was thriving. She'd pressed charges against Tommy with the club's support. The jackals had disbanded entirely, with several members patching over to clubs with better values. Sarah was living with Lena and Ghost, going to community college, working toward a future she'd never thought possible. The diner had become a local landmark. Brittany had apologized publicly, really apologized, with tears and genuine remorse, and now volunteered at women's shelters on weekends. The manager had hired 3 new plus-size servers and created an anti-discrimination policy that other restaurants were copying. And Maya? Maya had changed too. She'd stopped shrinking, stopped apologizing for existing. She'd appeared on Good Morning America and spoken about body positivity, about standing up for yourself, about the unexpected places you find family. She'd started a nonprofit with the Nomads Stand Up, Ride Out, providing resources for victims of domestic violence. But mostly, she'd fallen in love with a man who smelled like motor oil and wore his heart in his scarred hands, who built memorial gardens for fallen brothers and cried at toy runs for sick kids, who'd stood in a diner and decided one woman's dignity was worth more than convenience. A knock at the door. Maya smiled before she even opened it. Reaper stood there, helmet in hand, looking at her boxes. Ready? Almost. You sure about this? About you moving into the clubhouse compound? Reaper stepped inside, pulling her close. Maya, I've been sure about you since you told a meth-addled biker he was pathetic while standing in his line of fire. You're braver than any of us. Stronger. And somehow, he pressed his forehead to hers. Somehow you chose us. Chose me. So yeah, I'm sure. Your mom would have liked me, Maya said, echoing their first real conversation. No, Reaper corrected gently. She would have loved you. Just like I do. Maya's breath caught. You've never said that before. I know. Been scared. Seemed impossible that someone like you could want someone like me. His thumb traced her cheekbone. But you taught me something. Being scared doesn't mean you hide. It means you stand anyway. I love you too, Maya whispered. You ridiculous, wonderful, complicated man. He kissed her then soft and careful, like she was precious. When they pulled apart, both breathless, Reaper grinned. Come on, everyone's waiting. Ghost is threatening to eat your welcome cake if you don't get there soon. The clubhouse was transformed. Banners reading Welcome Home Maida hung everywhere. The whole charter was there plus Sarah plus nurses from Maya's hospice plus Mrs. Rodriguez in a wheelchair, still fighting, 3 months past her predicted timeline, claiming stubbornness ran in her blood. As Maya walked in on Reaper's arm, everyone erupted in cheers. Priest had made a feast. Ghost had hung photos Maya at the diner. Maya with Sarah, Maya and Reaper working on his bike together. Maya asleep on the clubhouse couch with her head on Reaper's shoulder. Lena pulled her aside, eyes bright. You did it, honey. You found your pack. Maya looked around the room. At men's society called outlaws who'd defended her without hesitation. At women who'd welcomed her without jealousy. At a life she'd never imagined wanting. No, Maya said, pulling Lena into a hug. They found me. I was just brave enough not to run. That night, after the party wound down, Maya and Reaper sat on the clubhouse roof, watching the stars over the Arizona desert. You know, Reaper said, people are going to tell stories about us. The biker and the nurse. The outlaw and the angel. Good, Maya said, lacing her fingers through his. Let them. Maybe our story will help someone else be brave. Help someone else stand up. Help someone else understand that family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's 20 bikers who decided you mattered. Ripper kissed her temple. You always mattered, Maya. You just needed people who could see it. And you, Maya said, turning to face him, needed someone who could see past the leather and scars to the man who just wanted to make his mom proud. Am I? Reaper asked quietly, making her proud. Maya touched his face, feeling the rough stubble, the scar, the vulnerability he only showed her. Every single day, by standing up, by loving hard, by being the kind of man who stops for strangers in diners and gives them a family. Far below, someone started a bonfire. Music drifted up. Laughter. The sounds of home, and 2 people who'd been lost, a biker trying to honor his mother's memory, a nurse trying to matter in a world that said she didn't found exactly what they'd been searching for. Each other, and a family that chose them back. So that's Maya and Reaper's story. A story about standing up, about found family, about love in the most unexpected places. I want to know what part of this story touched your heart the most. Was it Reaper's defense in the diner? Maya standing up to the jackals? Their love story? Drop a comment and let me know. And if this story moved you, hit that subscribe button, because next week we have another emotional biker story that's going to make you believe in second chances all over again. Until then, remember, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stand up for yourself, for others, for what's right. And sometimes the family you choose is the one that changes everything. Ride safe. Stand strong. We'll see you in the next story.